You think you would have learned by now?
You think so, but I consistently underperform.
Overpromise, underperform.
Always. That's my philosophy.
That's not a good philosophy.
That's a shit philosophy.
That's a very bad philosophy.
Order in the court. Thank you. Now, all rise. The Court of Public Opinion is now in session. The Honorable Chief Justice Kristin and Associate Justice Austin presiding. Now calling to trial the multiverse's most controversial social debate topics. They shall be resolved once and for all. You may be seated.
Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion podcast, where our arguments are 100% based on science and legitimate research every time.
I am your mad scientist, Kristin.
And I am your billionaire philanthropist, Austin.
Is he not also a scientist? Nah?
Also a scientist, software developer, all kinds of things. Well, happy Saturday, Peanuts. And today, we'd also like to give our well wishes to everyone recognizing today as International Survivors of Suicide Loss Day, also known as Survivor Day. Today is a day for friends and family who have lost loved ones to suicide to join together for healing and support. We hope you have the chance today to make a connection and find support through shared experience. And honestly, thank you guys so much for joining us today in the courtroom. Our hearts go out to anybody who has lost a loved one to these circumstances. And if you or a loved one needs support now, please don't hesitate to call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-TALK. Survivor Day is recognized every year on Saturday before Thanksgiving in America.
Yes.
Yes, I felt like it was very important to put that out there.
Yes.
All right. Now, for us, what are our weekly updates? What special things have happened this week?
Austin was ready to record before 5 p.m.
Oh my God. I was so on top of it this week, and I think it's just going to make this episode so much better. Because it's not 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. or however late p.m.
Hey-o.
So buckle up, everybody.
Yeehaw.
Anything else?
I've just been
of note?
Working my life away.
Yeah, Kristin's kicking ass, taking names, chewing bubblegum, and...
I do not chew bubblegum because I have a jaw problem.
And none of those things other than kicking ass. Because she's been doing research on a super, super intense law research paper about... Stuff and things.
Things and stuff.
We'll have a future law lesson coming up on an episode, so you guys can all pass the bar like I can.
Totally.
I've picked up a ton of knowledge just by osmosis, so... And it's all thanks to you.
Yes, today I taught you about wiretapping. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. It's not legal to do that, and in California at all.
Well... Unless you have a warrant. And you're law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. But then in other states, you only have one party consent, and it's okay.
Yes, but that one party can't be law enforcement.
Oh, wait. So if the one party is law enforcement, then it's not legal?
Okay, well, if it's a phone call with law enforcement, then it's fine, because then obviously they have no expectation of privacy.
But if, like, you and I moved to a different state, and I wanted to wiretap your phone, I am the only one who has to consent to that wiretapping to listen to whatever you say?
Are you the person on the other end of the phone? You can only do that if you're the one calling me.
No, I'm trying to listen to you.
No, you can't do that unless one of the people on the conversation consents.
Oh, okay. So I'll have somebody else. I'll just talk to whoever you talk to, and then...
But then because if I'm in California, I can assert that my choice of laws more important.
Yeah, my
if
entire
I'm wrong.
logic completely fell apart once you applied actual law to it and actually 2 seconds of thought. So disregard everything I've said.
2 seconds of thought is all it takes, folks, to destroy my opponent. Keep that in mind for later.
2 seconds of thought is all it takes to be a functioning adult in human society in this day and age.
In human society. Even Molly looked up and was like, what are you talking about?
I don't know, like antelope society, they just
see?
do things off instinct. They don't need to think about it.
She's judging you.
What about bear society?
Look at this one.
Molly judges me like every moment
5
of every
seconds.
day. Yeah, so that's fine. The judgment of God is upon me, and that's okay.
The God.
The one and only God.
Molly
Cristo. Well, if that's all we have for the weekly debates and our silly banter.
Updates, not debates.
Oh, updates. Weekly updates. Yeah, we're done with the debate. That's the end of the episode. Thanks for listening,
I
everyone.
won per usual.
No, what I would like to say is that starting this episode and moving forward, we're actually going to put the Court of Appeals segment at the end of the episode after our expert opinions. That way we can get into the debate more quickly. So
More quickly.
more quicklier. So let's do just that, but we still have some important things to cover before we can start our proceedings, so let's boost the energy of our debate environment with a crystal candle.
Oh God, is this a Jersey Shore? This week, we are lighting our custom red jasper pillar candle from Frey's Hermetic Supplies in Orange, California, anointed with lavender essential oils for added calming effect. According to FireMountainGems.com, that sounds like it should be read. According to FireMountainGems.com,
Damn straight.
jasper, in all its forms, is considered a powerful healing stone. Red jasper has been used as a stone of protection for thousands of years. It is believed this jasper has an ability to create and help balance aggressive dynamic energy. And that's me, folks.
Ooh, that
Also,
was aggressive.
according to Fire Mountain Gems, please note that all metaphysical and healing properties listed are collected from various sources. This information is offered as a service and not meant to treat medical conditions. Fire Mountain Gems and Beads does not guarantee the validity of any of these statements.
And then what is that little symbol with the R and the circle? Is that a trademark?
It's a registered
A
trademark.
registered trademark.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So
That's federal protection, folks.
they've got their name on lockdown. You can't take Fire Mountain Gems and Beads.
Fire Mountain Gems and Beads.
Oh, I got the
Registered
fire.
trademark.
I got the fire in the palm of my
So
hand.
take that as you will. Now that our candle crystal energy flows with the red hot intensity of a small flame, Austin, go ahead and cover our asses with the red hot disclaimer.
This is an intentionally argumentative podcast. We choose to take opposing sides of an argument for the sake of entertainment, whether or not our personal values align with it. The Court of Public Opinion podcast and its hosts do not necessarily endorse the views expressed in this program. Please do not pass judgment on our individual character based on our arguments. We're just here to force ourselves and our listeners into weekly arguments that are ultimately just for funsies. And now that that's out of the way, what are we arguing this week, Kristin?
Well, following the 2020 presidential election and our third episode, the Who's the Best Chris argument, it seemed appropriate to pit some other notorious white dudes against each other for the sake of podcast argument edutainment, which is a Bill Nye thing.
Whatever.
And this week, it's the Battle of the Bills, not the Buffalo Bills, you silly billies. It is Bill Gates versus Bill Nye, the science guy. The science guy.
Yeah.
The
one. No.
the only. The Bill Nye, the science guy.
Bill. Okay, so nobody really asked for this argument, but we're going to do it anyway because that's just how we do. And of course, there are many other famous Bills that we won't be discussing in great detail today. You got Bill Clinton, Bill de Blasio, Bill Burr, Bill Hader, Bill O'Reilly, Bill Nighy, Bill Skarsgård, and who knows? We could totally come back and throw two of them in the ring and just see what they do. But if you have a preference on which two bills you'd like us to debate in the future, go ahead and let us know.
Please don't pick Bill Clinton.
No, we are also not accepting suggestions for that bill. You know who I'm talking about, because he obviously loses no matter who he's up against.
Who?
That one Bill that has his own show, that very Bill. And before we argue this week's bills, I think it is important that we get to know each of them a little bit beforehand for context. So let's each take a moment to present
The Brief History of Bill!
Kristin, you go ahead and go first. Who's your Bill?
Well, who do you think?
Oh, you talked about it already.
My Bill is William Sanford Nye, a.k.a. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
It's really hard not to just say Bill. Okay, continue.
He is an American science communicator, television presenter, and mechanical engineer, not to mention comedian. Best known as the host of PBS children's science show, Bill Nye the Science Guy, from 1993 to 1998. He's also the star of the Netflix show, Bill Nye Saves the World, 2017 to 2018, and for his many subsequent appearances in popular media as a science educator. He was born in Washington, D.C. to Jacqueline Jenkins Nye and Edwin Ned Darby Nye on November 27, 1955. Both of his parents served in World War II. His mother had served as a codebreaker, probably working with other smarty pantses to codebreak the Nazi Enigma machine, and his father as a military construction contractor building an airstrip on Wake Island. Ned was captured and imprisoned in a Japanese prisoner of war camp for 4 years, where he learned how to tell time using the shadow of a shovel handle, which led to him having an impassioned interest in sundials. Bill Nye attended Lafayette Elementary School and Alice Deal Junior High School before attending Sidwell High School on a scholarship, graduating in 1973. Then he moved to Ithaca, New York to study mechanical and aerospace engineering at Cornell University. You know, if you go to Cornell, you tell everybody about it.
He went to Cornell. I was told by our listeners that I sound, or one of our listeners, that I sound like Ed Helm, a.k.a. Andy from The Office.
Did you go to Cornell?
I didn't go to Cornell. I haven't left the West Coast in terms of residence, but it's not the first time that I've been told that.
Bill's enthusiasm for science grew after taking a planetary science class taught by Carl Sagan, who was associate director of the Center for Radiophysics and Space Research at Cornell at the time.
Carl fucking Sagan?
Cornell. After graduating in 1977, Nye went to work as an engineer for the Boeing Corporation, where he invented a hydraulic resonance suppressor tube used on Boeing 747 airplanes. I know nothing about airplanes, so I don't even know what kind that is.
This one is like the huge commercial airline that's like a double-decker, and it's like one of the...
Why would you get on that?
The original funding for the project to build Boeing 747s was like over... I think $1 billion.
Cool, but why would you ever get on one? That's terrifying. Actually, I think I've been on one.
Are you saying why would you get on a Boeing 747, or why would you get on any airplane ever?
That's a good question. Why would anybody get on an airplane?
Especially right now.
Flying metal. Okay. Anyway, Nye had also become interested in stand-up comedy while working at Boeing. After winning a Steve Martin lookalike contest in 1978 and doing impressions of the famous comedian, Bill discovered how much he enjoyed making people laugh. In October of 1986, Bill quit his job at Boeing to further pursue a career in comedy and approached his former professor, Carl Sagan, seeking advice on starting a science television program. Sagan advised him to focus on pure science. Kids resonate to pure science rather than technology. I guess back in the day that was true. This advice inevitably led him to creating and airing the Bill Nye the Science Guy pilot episode on September 10th, 1993. This science education show was syndicated by Walt Disney and aired on PBS between 1993 to October of 1999. And by that, I believe you meant the Walt Disney Company, because Walt Disney was definitely dead.
That is what I meant. You're right.
In April of 2017, Netflix premiered Bill Nye Saves the World, the show's byline being Emmy-winning host Bill Nye brings experts and famous guests to his lab for a talk show exploring scientific issues that touch our lives. This is for adults, by the way, not for kids.
Have you seen it?
I did for research purposes.
Oh, nice.
Not for children.
Oh, I like it, though. It's so good.
Since then, Bill Nye has continued being an advocate of science and critical thinking. He started a podcast with science writer Corey Powell called Science Rules, and he even has his own TikTok account.
That is all.
Okay, well, he also has a Twitter, and that is fire. He also has a Twitter parody. We'll get into it.
Bill Gates' Twitter is also fire.
He's not as cool or relatable. We'll get into why later.
Yeah. All right. That's your whole history of Bill. And yes, I did write these histories.
Because someone decided that he wanted to do it, but also forgot that I have like a life.
I remembered.
Did you?
I forget a lot of things, but did that work out for you?
I don't know. There were some
grammatical
errors
errors
in there.
I think your reading of that brief history of Bill was lovely.
I made it work.
You did, despite my lack of proofreading. But now it's my turn to give you the history of my Bill. All right.
Your Bill, huh?
He's my Bill. I claim ownership of him now.
You want to pay your bill?
I'd prefer not to pay my bills, but it's a responsibility that we all have. So if that's what I got to do. Although if Bill Gates were my bills, he would be very expensive. I can't afford my bills. You getting the logic? Have I carried this joke on too long? Okay.
You ruined it.
The brief history of Bill Gates.
Relax.
William Henry Gates III.
Oh, God. How pretentious.
He's a junior's junior. Is an American business magnate, software developer, and philanthropist.
What is a magnate?
He's a magnate.
Not a magnet, but a magnate.
Yeah. Like my buddy Nate, who made our logo.
Mag.
And he's magnetic as well. He just draws money towards him. And then his nickname is Nate.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yep. He's best known for co-founding the Microsoft Corporation. He was born in Seattle, Washington to William H. Gates II.
The junior.
And Mary Ann Maxwell Gates on October 28th, 1955. Just under a month before Bill Nye was born. Wow!
Wow.
His father was a prominent lawyer, and his mother was the first female president of United Way of America, which is the largest nonprofit organization by donations from the public prior to 2016. Oh, how cool is that? He's got cool family. So did Bill Nye. At 13 years old...
Some would argue that Codebreaker is way cooler.
That is pretty fucking dope, not gonna lie. Anyway, at 13, Bill Gates wrote his first software program, an implementation of tic-tac-toe that allowed users to play games against an artificial opponent, aka the computer. He wrote this program using a teletype Model 33, which was basically a 1970s version of an office typewriter/printer, and a public use computer that he had to rent time slots on to work on it. And that was all funded by the Mothers Corporation of his middle school. They did a little rummage sale, and they got a bunch of money so he could do computer things.
Must be nice to live where privilege exists.
At 17 years old, he served as a congressional page, which was a program in which high school students could work as nonpartisan federal employees in the House of Representatives, performing various administrative duties like printing and delivering reports, managing phones, and tending to members' personal needs while on the floor of the House.
Again.
Basically...
What did I say about privilege? This is like an episode of Gossip Girl. Jesus.
Honestly, though, that job sounds... garbage, having to be an intern for the
when you're 17. They set him up so well to go to college and law school, and then he was like, nah, fuck your shit. I'm not doing that.
Taking over the world, one college dropout at a time. Bill was a National Merit Scholar when he graduated high school in 1973. He scored 1590 out of 1600 on the SATs.
But did he study?
10 points under maximum.
But did he study?
Nah, he just knew everything without studying because he's so smarty pants.
Are you being serious?
McGee. I have no idea if he studied or not.
Oh, I didn't.
I'm assuming
study,
he did.
And I got a 1450, and I was like, oh, I'm so smart.
I can't remember what I got. I'm pretty sure I got 2200 or something.
Wait, it's out of 1600.
I know, I did better than the maximum.
Oh. Wait, was it out of 2200?
No, it was out of 1600.
Are we sure? 2200
maybe it's
sounds
changed.
Right.
When?
And then...
From 1973?
I know I was
SAT?
150 off of perfect, and I was like, oh, I'm so smart.
I mean, you are.
No, it was pure luck and guessing.
All I know is that my best subjects were math and sciences.
Oh,
and
I'm
literature
the opposite. Reading and writing
were terrible for me.
There's a reason I'm in law school
There's
and
a
not
reason
in
we
math.
are who we are as people. All right. Bill was a National Merit Scholar when he graduated high school in 1973.
You just read that.
Oh, yes, I did. He did a bunch of awesome nerd stuff in college.
Wow.
But after seeing the MIT's Altair 8800 microcomputer in 1975, Bill was like, nah, fuck this. I'm going to drop out of Harvard and pursue starting a computer software company with his friend Paul Allen. Because they thought they could make a better microcomputer than Altair.
Well, apparently they did, because I don't know what the hell Altair is.
Well, they were so smart that they could actually do this and make it work and then become super successful. Anyway.
Sure, it had everything to do with how smart they were. Not saying it wasn't everything to do with how smart they were, but they also had commercial backing from Bill Gates' parents. Thank you. That's my soapbox, and I'm getting off of it now.
They had a solid baseline.
Yep.
But they also founded Microsoft in 1975 and released the first Windows operating system in 1985, spawning a massive computer software company that that Bill Gates ran until 2006 when he left Microsoft to dedicate his time to philanthropy. He now runs the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation with his wife, having donated $45.5 billion to charitable causes since 1994.
Wow, I wish I had that much money.
Yeet.
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 Yeah. But also, I have one more final fun fact about both Bill Nye and Bill Gates. Now, did you know...
I bet I did.
Peanuts and Kristin, did you know that Bill Nye and Bill Gates are 8th cousins twice removed? And what does that mean, you might ask? Well, it means that Bill Gates' great-great-great-great-great-great-great, that's 9 greats, grandfather, Thomas Tupper, is also Bill Nye's great-great-great-great-great-great, that's 7 greats, grandfather. Which led me down a rabbit hole figuring out what the whole twice removed part meant. And after reading about it, it basically means it's the number of generations that they differ from each other in their line of lineage below the shared ancestor, quote
line
unquote.
Of lineage.
The lineage of lineage. So if both of them, for example, to clarify, if both of them were Thomas Tupper's great to the 7th degree grandsons, they would just be 8th cousins. But because Bill Gates is 2 more generations down on his branch of the family tree, they're twice removed. Make sense?
Nope. Also, I'm pretty sure there's like a diagram of how everyone is separated by 8 degrees from Kevin Bacon. So doesn't that just mean that everybody is like 8th cousins twice removed or something?
I mean, probably.
Gross.
I have no doubt.
Disgusting.
Well, you think about it,
Nasty.
9 generations up in your family, and think about how many people, they had kids, and then they got married, and then they had however many kids, and each of those, it's exponential.
Do you have any ancestors in either the Philippines, Ireland, or Italy?
Maybe Italy, definitely Denmark. I think my great-great-great-grandparents came over from Denmark.
All of my family came from one of those 3 countries.
The Philippines, Italia, and what was the middle one?
Ireland.
Ireland. I see it in you.
No,
You get the Irish.
Irish what?
The Irish.
I don't have red hair.
Ears.
Are they pointy?
Yeah,
what are
you got Irish ears. Yes, all Irish people have pointy ears because they're all leprechauns.
All of my uncles have pointy ears.
Are they all very short and
No, just my dad.
fond of the color green?
My dad's growth was stunted by his allergies early on in life.
By his allergies?
He got so many treatments and shit that he just couldn't grow anymore.
Was he allergic to being taller?
That's not how that works. He was allergic to milk, so he couldn't drink milk and have strong bones.
Because calcium.
We got a regular scientist up in here.
Yeah. I got a degree in science. A bachelor's of.
Okay, I also have a bachelor's of science in business administration. What does that matter?
Oh. That's not a BA?
No.
Oh.
BS, BA.
A BS, a BA. A BSPA.
A business of science and a bachelor's of science in business administration.
I've got a business of science in mechanical engineering.
You actually do not have a business of anything.
I don't think
you know how to run a business whatsoever.
I have no business running a podcast or hosting a podcast.
No one does. No one has any business hosting a podcast.
Yeah, people stop doing podcasts.
It seems like a lot to assume that people want to listen to you before you even get a listenership.
Yeah, how conceited is that? I mean, why would we assume that anybody wants to hear our voices?
To be fair, I don't. I just assume no one listens.
I don't either, and
they just fast forward through my argument. They're like, "Ugh."
Let us know in the comments, guys. Do you just skip through Kristin's arguments, or do you actually listen to them? Yeah, I don't think they like the high-pitched screaming that happens every time. I like it. It's a lot of fun. Okay, well, tangent ended. Those are the brief histories of Bill. And now, let's get into our arguments. Kristin, you're going first this week because I went first last week.
No, I can't go first.
Why not?
Because...
Oh, because you shit on my argument and yours?
Of course.
Well, it was there in the Google Doc. You
for the
knew
first
that you were
time
supposed to.
ever. Which is why I get to
prepared.
go second this week.
Fine. I'll go first. Want to do 11 minutes?
No! Who follows this anyway? It's a formality.
It's fun.
You always say, Your Honor, can I please continue for 1 minute?
1 minute.
1 minute.
Give me 5 more seconds to finish my...
No.
What are we saying? What are we doing?
I am Italian.
Oh, that's right. And I'll be Irish. I'll be your Irish side.
No.
Hello, I am Kristin's ears.
No, you're spicy white. Go back to being spicy white.
I don't know what Portuguese people sound like.
They speak
the Portuguese. Yeah.
Which is like Spanish and French put together, so good luck.
I'm not even going to try because I won't do that justice. Okay, are we ready to do the argument?
Are we ready to do the argument?
I am.
Okay. And 3, 2,
What?
1.
Yay!
Go!
Good day, your honors, and may it please the court. Austin and Andrade, excuse me. Ew, don't cough at me. May it please the court, Austin Andrade, on behalf of Bill Gates, is the best Bill due to his contributions to the world of modern technology. I would like to reserve the next 5 seconds to fangirl over the supreme nerdness that is this debate, particularly in favor of my own client, Mr. Gates.
You should only wish for Mr. Gates to be your client.
Mr. Gates. Mr. Gates the Third.
Continue.
Thank you, your honors. As I mentioned before, Bill Gates and his childhood friend Paul Allen started the Microsoft company, which led to the era of the home computer.
What is happening? I need you to relax.
Yo, I'm hyped. We are literally using technology right now to record and publish this podcast. Technology that wouldn't exist in the same capacity without the work of these two brilliant...
That's a hefty assumption, sir.
That's why I said in this capacity.
That's super hefty. I don't agree with that, and you have no evidence to back it up.
Their work was especially crucial in the development of word processing programs, like Microsoft Word, as the most widely used word processing software in the world, with an estimated 500 million users.
I don't use it.
You don't?
Not really.
You're a liar.
Because if you save it on your computer and it disappears because your computer gets all fucked up, what are you going to do? I've lost many a school assignment that way, so now I do everything on the fucking cloud through Google.
Oh, thanks, Google. And whoever the CEO of Google is, your name's not Bill, so you're not a part of this.
Well, damn. Just threw Google under the bus.
Let's talk achievements. Bill Gates has won a number of awards for all of his contributions to the advancement of computer technology, including the National Medal of Technology and Innovation in 1992, the Satellite Special Achievement Award for Outstanding Contribution to Entertainment New Media in 1997, the Silver Buffalo Award in 2010. That? You know what?
Did he wrestle some buffaloes?
Yeah. The Buffalo Bills, to be exact. Took them all to the ground.
Jesus.
With his big brain. And the and the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016 was bestowed upon him and his wife's very necks by the President Barack Obama. And the Presidential Medal of Freedom is an award that is given to recognize people who have made, quote, an especially meritorious contribution to the security or National interests of the United States, world peace, cultural or other significant public or private endeavors. What a badass.
Did you know, and I'll pause your time to
thank you.
talk about this, because I thought it was interesting when I found out that the White House and like all of the federal government only use Windows because they're afraid that if they use something that's manufactured outside of the United States, it's easier to get hacked. So they only use like Dell computers. Isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
That is crazy.
That's like, well, security is a major concern because,
They're afraid they'll get hacked if they use anything else because it's all manufactured outside of the United States.
Yeah.
So
and
they're like only use Dell.
a big question going around with national security that I've contemplated recently was like, why can't we just vote online? But it's majorly because of computer security.
And like internet connections very easily hackable. So like,
and not everybody has access to internet.
bad idea. Okay, continue.
Okay. Where was I?
Another key reason
that I have mad respect for Bill Gates is that despite his wealth, he seems to have emphasized the importance of working hard to his children to avoid a typical trust fund baby situation in the family. His and Melinda Gates' eldest daughter, Jennifer Gates, said in an interview with Sidelines magazine, quote, "I was born into a huge situation of privilege, and I think it's about using those opportunities and learning from them to find things that I'm passionate about and hopefully make the world a little bit of a better place." And Bill Gates told the Daily Mail in 2011
super reputable source. We love the Daily Mail.
But this is what he told them. He's a reputable source.
You know, maybe he didn't actually say that and they made it up. You never know.
Oh, man. That would be unfortunate. Daily Mail, get your shit together. Please do the news like it should be done. But he reportedly told the Daily Mail in 2011 that each of his children will receive only a, quote, minuscule portion of his wealth, saying it will mean they have to find their own way. And you know what? I'm all for that.
We'll get into why that's a self-fulfilling prophecy anyway later. But I won't spend too much time on my soapbox.
Well, let's postulate on some other things, like how the world would be different without Bill Gates.
This is all very easily refutable.
And this is all
speculation,
heavy speculation,
Your Honor.
Not
strike from the record
effing.
Preemptively. Okay, thanks, bye.
Well, let's hear it out anyway. So
Sure.
to start, the computer software market, as we know it, would look different, probably. Allegedly.
No, okay.
According to J. Scott Christensen, assisting...
What does J stand for?
Stuttered a bit. Joe Nathan it's what it is.
Joe Nathan.
Joe Nathan Scott Christensen. He was assistant teaching professor at the University of Missouri. He says Bill Gates single-handedly created the computer software market.
because he had a buddy. That's some bullshit.
Bill
there.
Gates and Paul Allen
you added that yourself.
quadruple-handedly, because they both have two hands, created the computer software market. Microsoft defined most of what we take for granted in software company: licensing, upgrades, support, etc.
Oh, heavily disagree.
The development of smartphones, moving on to our next point, the development of smartphones and apps would have probably taken longer without Bill Gates.
I love that you're hedging now because you know that it's very easily.
My head is also shaking. I thought that's what you were going to say. That I'm hedging and that my head is also just gyrating to emphasize my points. Let's see. Microsoft not only developed some of the first commercially sold microcomputers, but the software made it way easier for future developers to create applications that run on hundreds of different devices, according to Stephen Ruiz, CEO of GrowthMed Incorporated. Don't ask me what that company is. I don't know about you.
Sounds like a weed company.
Hell yeah, Stephen. Stephen Ruiz.
Oh boy.
Now, I don't know about you, but I like having the power of a tiny Now, I don't know about you, but I like having the power of a tiny supercomputer with near immediate access to massive amounts of information and knowledge burning a hole in my pocket. And yes, I'm speaking figuratively, of course. Don't get too excited, Samsung Galaxy Note 7 owners.
I have an issue with this because arguably our lives would be so much better if we weren't on our phones all the time, on social media all the time. Like, we would be much happier people. So that's kind of bullshit, but whatever.
But the knowledge, the information,
books,
the digital.
Holy books. Oh my God.
Books.
Open a book.
I can't just pull open a book and automatically control F what information I'm trying to find.
Yes.
It's a time
that's
saver.
the point of reading.
Shows how smart I am.
The whole story.
And this is big for people, for your people, Kristin.
My people, huh?
Your people. Without Bill Gates, more than 43 million people in the Philippines would likely not have health insurance.
How many people in the United States don't have health insurance, even though Bill Gates is here?
Far less than 43 million, I'm sure.
Oh, no.
I know that's not true, and I don't mean it.
Okay.
I don't have health insurance, so.
Yes, you do.
Oh, I do now? Yeah! You're right, I do now.
And that feels great, doesn't it?
It does, it really does.
No thanks to Bill Gates.
Well, let me just say my thing anyway.
Okay.
The Gates Foundation has committed more than $225 million to partners who are working to address the tobacco epidemic throughout Africa and Asia. Part of that funding has gone to programs in the Philippines that pushed for the government to implement the sin tax law, a law that increased taxes on tobacco by up to 820%. As a result, these taxes have financed the enrollment of more than 43 million Filipinos in the country's health insurance program.
Sounds like a lot of guilt talking because he apparently can't figure it out here.
My guilt or Bill's?
Bill's guilt.
At least he paid it forward.
In a different country full of minorities who he perceived to need help because he's part of the 1%. But let's ignore that and get off my soapbox yet again.
She keeps her soapbox close, everybody.
Soapbox?
Soapbox, playboy.
Ew.
And speaking of funding for charitable causes, I don't know if you've heard, I don't know if you heard me properly earlier when I said that Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has donated $45.5 billion with a B billion since 1994.
Top 1%, everybody.
That is an average of $1.75 billion a year, every year since 1994. Their fucking words. Their donations go towards programs that provide financial services to people in impoverished communities. They enable women to make informed decisions about family planning with access to contraception. And teach farmers how to increase their production sustainability all around the world.
I'd like to hear more about these impoverished communities. I want to see demographics because...
They're all available on the Gates Foundation website. GatesFoundation.org.
Just because an impoverished community is impoverished doesn't mean that the people, minority people who need the money are getting it. I'll get to it later. Soapbox. Oh. You're allowed to have 30 more seconds because I probably took up 30 seconds on my soapbox. But 30 seconds only.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
In 2007 alone, the foundation spent over $2 billion in global education and health initiatives. And as an added bonus, the foundation allows its benefactors to access information that shows how it donated its money is being spent. How its donated money is being spent. And they're full transparency, so boom, mic drop. They've even made monumental contributions throughout the coronavirus pandemic.
Yet we still don't have a cure.
Well, they can't accomplish everything, can they? But they've funded it to help.
Apparently they can.
And we almost got a vaccine.
94.5% effective, but it requires 2 doses, so that's going to drop us down to like 1% effective because absolutely nobody is going twice.
And Dr. Anthony Fauci said that a lot of people might not take it. So
exactly.
Because vaccines are the devil.
Well, needles suck, but also people just aren't going to go for the second dose. It's like that Gardasil shot that I had to get in high school. And man, I cried for hours. It hurt so bad.
Yeah, you cried leading up to me pricking your finger for the food thing.
The Gardasil shot is different. I couldn't move my arm for like 3 days.
Oh my God. Wow. Give me some of that.
You don't want that.
No. Let's see, where was I?
And one last thing.
Sorry, one last thing before I finish my argument. Bill Gates and Rashida Jones,
odd pairing.
Ann Perkins. Well, they started a podcast literally just this past Monday on November 16th, 2020.
Today.
AKA the day we're recording. It's called Bill Gates and Rashida Jones Ask Big Questions, where they talk about some of the world's biggest issues. I mean, not as big as the issues that we face on this podcast, obviously, but after listening to their first episode on what life might look like after COVID, I'd say it has some promise. So if you have the time to listen to that, go check it out.
I don't have the time, but could you give me a brief summary of what life after COVID is going to look like?
Well, they had Dr. Anthony Fauci on the podcast and interviewed him about it. And his expert, vision on it is that it's very likely that the coronavirus, especially because people won't be taking vaccines, is still going to be a part of our lives moving forward. So it's possible that we're going to adopt the East Asian culture thing with wearing masks, just generally speaking. And hopefully, ideally, people will have a bit more respect about communicable diseases. But, that's putting a lot of faith in the American people. So
it's not just us. I mean, it's everybody, but we're the only country that seems to have an issue with people revolting against masks.
Yeah. Come on, America. I'm sure the people listening to this are not among the crowd who need to be told this message, but oh, man.
Please don't kill your friends.
It's upsetting. Yeah, don't. Coughing on people is a bioterrorist attack, and you're committing a war crime right now, miss.
I have asthma. And if I had it, you would have had it at least 10 times over by now.
That's fair.
Your argument is
and we
over
shared
now.
a glass of wine 2 episodes ago, so.
We did?
Yeah. I had to point out that we are and have been in the same bubble this entire pandemic time.
That is true. Since January. Oh, wait. February, March.
April.
It's been almost a year. No, it's definitely by March. Because St. Patrick's Day happened in quarantine.
June-tober.
It's not a month.
Nope. That concludes my argument, everyone.
He's done.
Finally. Ugh.
This just in. I'm about to kick your ass. Let's go.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good day, Your Honors, and may it please the court, Kristen Bradley on behalf of Bill Nye the Science Guy. First and foremost, Your Honors, my bill has a theme song. Again, Kristen coming at you with the hard-hitting arguments about the shit you actually care about. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill. Yeah, see? You sang along.
It's too catchy not to do.
Does your bill have a theme song? Nope.
Bill
Moreover.
Gates, the software dude.
Copyright.
Bill.
Moreover, my bill is hip. He's in with the kids. He's so cool. People freak out when they see him in elevators. See the video on YouTube I'm referencing?
Are you saying you wouldn't freak out if you saw Bill Gates
Absolutely
in an
not.
elevator?
I have no idea what he looks like. Bill Nye, on the other hand, looks just like me. Lab coat and bow tie.
Guys, go check out our YouTube video because we are dressed to the 12s with this fucking debate right now.
Bill Nye is a public figure that people actually know and know what he looks like. Because if freaking Bill Gates was serving me a smoothie and Dairy Queen, I wouldn't even know.
That happened in real life.
And people didn't even know. They knew who Warren Buffett was. I knew who Warren Buffett was.
Warren Buffett owns a heavy portion of shares for Dairy Queen.
He owns everything. Anyway, Bill Nye is on Twitter and he burns his friends. Look at this sick burn. Neil deGrasse Tyson tweeted, "Meteors meet fiery deaths as they plunge through Earth's atmosphere, so the term meteoric rise makes no sense whatsoever." To which Bill Nye replies, at Neil Tyson, "Meteors create streaks in skies. From the ground, meteors often look like they're leaving Earth. Makes no sense? Bit of an exag."
Exag. Mad
He gets
props.
better. He also has a parody account on Twitter. He's literally made it in internet culture. Check out at Bill_Nye_though on Twitter for that. I don't have time to read all of them for y'all. He even got to read his own mean tweets on Jimmy Kimmel, and his responses were fire. And I'm going to read you some, but I suggest you watch the video because I laughed my ass off. Here's the first tweet from @BadPonyMedicine. "I fucking hate Bill Nye, that asshole guy. Fuck that misogynistic twat." Bill
Damn.
Nye's response? "That would not be a good usage of twat. I'm not clear on that, but she's probably in a hurry." Here's another tweet.
Who, Bad Pony Medicine?
Yeah. She's probably in a hurry.
Not in a hurry enough not to use caps lock.
All you have to do is click the thing twice on your phone.
Yeah, that takes a lot of time.
No. All right. Here's another tweet from Corey_Jury. "Bill Nye made me hate science to a whole new level because he thought it was fun and I think it still sucks." Bill Nye's response: "Thank you." And this last tweet in this segment is from @CMiriam54. I hate Bill Nye. That guy is so annoying. !! Bill Nye's response:
Wait, what? like they actually
Put an upside down exclamation point.
Oh, they didn't type out upside down exclamation point?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
Bill Nye responded, like so annoying. Literally, in that Valley Girl accent. He said, like so annoying.
With the asterisks and everything?
No,
Like,
he said it on Jimmy Kimmel.
oh.
He went, like so annoying. And so, Bill Nye has demonstrated to us here that he is one of us, not one of the 1% of the elite who don't know what a meme is or what the Twitter is. He is one of us. One of us.
Cult,
One of us.
Cult.
Shut up. All right. So, since Austin wanted to talk about hard work, we'll talk about hard work. All we want. Okay, let's talk about how much easier it is to work your way up from privilege, shall we? While our buddy Bill Gates was born into a prominent family, no disrespect, the guy's obviously a genius and super talented, our better buddy Bill Nye was born into a working class family. In my brief overview, I talked about how Nye's parents both served in World War II. He did not come from money, like money a prominent lawyer makes, perhaps. Rather, he came from a badass codebreaker mom and a badass dad who survived prisoner of war camps and made fucking sundials to tell time. Again, no disrespect, but it's much easier to climb the ranks when you come from the top of the ranks. It is much more impressive when a plebe like us is able to climb the ranks and do just as well. Yes, like us.
Like you and I?
Money talks, but so does hard work. Trust me, I know. I come from a law enforcement family with no money and had to work my ass up all the way up to law school to get someone else to pay for it because I didn't want to.
She got a chip on her shoulder, guys.
Exactly.
It's a big chip.
Much like my friend Bill Nye, who got into Cornell on his own accord with his own academic credentials and was able to work as an engineer for Boeing. Remember when we talked about the special school he went to and his little upbringing? He had to go there on a scholarship like Dan Humphrey from Gossip Girl. Nye's super cool science guy career also sprang from his hard work at Boeing. His experience in front of the camera started with training videos at Boeing, with small potatoes to become a super famous science guy. Bill wrote and produced his own show. That is so impressive. Talk about hard work. He filmed it all in Washington, D.C., where he was from, because he couldn't come out here to L.A. Also, his portrayal as a fun science educator made it possible for him to reach a wider audience, spreading the love for science to those who may not have had access to it earlier. In essence, he made science cool. Or at least easy to watch on TV during a movie day at school because your professor or your teacher was too tired to teach or something. Or maybe hungover. I don't know. Essentially, Bill Nye built a career out of making something that is inherently uncool, cool, on his own, without his mommy and daddy. Bill basically created edutainment, and we love it. Let's talk about the world without Bill Nye.
Oh.
Because you wanted to talk about it without Bill Gates.
So this is also speculative.
Oh, I came up with this on my own because your person is obviously not reputable. But, first of all, the science guy brought science to children who may... Hello?
Excuse me.
You gonna get that? Is it your girlfriend? It's his girlfriend on his burner phone.
That's weird.
Her name is Franita. She sounds hideous.
She is. She's wearing khakis, so. Oh, she's a man.
Well, she's a guy, so. Okay, well, back to my
Sorry,
argument.
where were we?
First of all, I already read that sentence. Without this science guy, we may not have as much of a diverse force in the current day science field as we do. I won't spend too much time on that, though, because facts and blah, 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 blah. And he didn't talk about facts. He just talked about speculation.
I just made
Well, now the science guy is trying to save the world. This is objective. Bill Nye has turned his focus to saving the world, specifically from climate change. Read global warming.
Bill Gates and Bill Nye have worked together on this, actually.
Bill Nye's doing better because Bill Nye is actually a pop culture icon. Bill Nye leads a crusade against anti-scientific thinking by providing scientific evidence to the masses about climate change. For example, the world is on fucking fire. That video you showed me the other day? Mm-hmm. Amazing. And about, that's right, folks, our favorite topic, the COVID. The science guy's image is being revived on his new Netflix series, Bill Nye Saves the World. Can you, for the love of God, knock it off? Silence your cell phones in the courtroom, you asshole!
It's silenced.
Throughout the series, Nye focused on the perils of global warming.
Sorry, what series?
Bill Nye Saves the World. You would know if you would turn your phone off.
Sorry.
This time, he is aiming his message at us, the adults who fucked up the planet. Content includes engineering new body parts, how to survive the world without a sustainable water source, because that's gonna fucking happen, and so on. Plus, he does it with fun facts, amazing humor, and passion. He makes us want to care about this stuff because we should, because we fucked it up. Anyway, I'm ranting, and one of his lines is,
Wait,
I'm
is
ranting.
soapbox? You're on it again. Okay.
No, this is Bill Nye's soapbox, and he said, I'm ranting about climate change again. You got a problem with that? No, we don't, Bill Nye, because it's important. Without Bill Nye, many of us wouldn't give a shit about science. Sorry, but not sorry. You know a shit ton of you did not pay attention to your science teacher as much as you did Bill Nye. And that's a fact. And now he's bringing the science back to us through pop culture. He knows the best way to get in with the millennials is to use humor, especially dark humor, and memes. He made himself a meme for us. Without him, who the fuck knows whether we would care as much about global warming? Who knows? Also, just to rebut your point quickly about what the world would look like without Bill Gates. Point 1, Steve Jobs did what Gates did, but better. Objectively. Apple, way better. Point 2,
Oh, really?
objectively.
That is a future argument, for sure.
And you're wrong. Point 2. You want to talk about it now?
No, I haven't done any research. I couldn't possibly argue it with any sense of success.
I absolutely could because I've already done it. Point 2, it's great to be a part of the 1% to help out the minorities and less fortunate in other countries, but can he do that here? No? Okay. Also, he hasn't brought the issues he hasn't brought any of these issues to the masses the way Bill Nye has done. Because he's not one of us. He's in the 1%. He's friends with Warren Buffett and thinks that working at a Dairy Queen is like being one of us. If he could grasp internet culture, then maybe his efforts could be more appreciated here and, in effect, more widespread.
Maybe.
None of us know what it's like to be in the 1%, and he doesn't try to get on our level. That's what makes Bill Nye better, because he's fucking relatable. And therein lies my argument, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Nye is the superior Bill, because he is one of us.
Cult.
One of us. One of us.
That was good timing.
I nailed it, even though you interrupted me like 8 times with your phone calls from Franita.
Sorry.
You're not sorry.
I told her not to call. I really did.
You're gonna die later. Cheaters get stitches.
Bitches get stitches too.
No, snitches get stitches, but I changed it to cheaters.
They should get stitches. Absolutely.
Because their dicks get chopped
Good thing
off.
Franita is fictional. Fictional Franita.
So he says.
You made up her name.
I just told you what her name was because that's what her name is.
Oh, and that's what the phone said when you picked it up?
Franita.
Franita.
I told her to stop calling. Why are you touching me? That's Franita's hand.
That's because I love you, and there is no Franita. I promise.
That was not convincing whatsoever. Nobody here believes you.
See, look at our cuteness.
That was before I knew about Franita.
In our Google Doc, we did a cute thing because I was at work and Kristin was at home. And I said, hey, Kristin, I love you. Less than 3, less than 3, less than 3.
He loves me less than 3 because Franita's 4.
Oh, no. You spun it on me. That was pretty good.
All right. I think this is a good place for an ad break, don't you think?
Agreed.
Oh, goodbye.
And we are back.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yay. There is no Franita.
He just wants to make sure that nobody hates him out there.
I just want to make sure that, particularly you, I mean, you know.
Does Franita
Peanuts
know that she's not real?
Have you ever questioned the nature of your reality? Oh, man. We just became Westworld up in here. All right. It's time for Expert Opinions. Listen to what people gotta say about Bill.
You gotta go first because I only did like 2 things.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll just kick off my expert opinions.
Oh God, I'm so hungry. Okay.
We're going to make food right after this. Not McDonald's this time, but I'm going to make you some scrumdiddlyumptious
I want
dinners.
rice.
Me too.
Let's make rice. Okay.
I have quinoa.
No, that makes you shit.
Okay.
Okay. Like totally. Okay.
To start off my expert opinions, I Google searched, quote, I hate Bill Nye, just to see what would
The
come
FBI
up.
is going to come for you.
Just to be sure. And one of the first links that I found was an article from a man named Alex Berizau, who is a PhD microbiologist, science writer, and public speaker who specializes in the debunking of junk science for the American Council of Science and Health.
Seems like a waste of a science degree.
Yeah. Did he say he was a professor? No, he's just
He's just a
got a
PhD.
doctorate. And he's writing articles shitting on Bill Nye.
Wow, that's embarrassing. All right, continue.
This article is titled, Bill Nye is a terrible spokesperson for science. And the self-proclaimed junk science debunker says, when I was a kid, Bill Nye, the science guy, was a thing. I never watched his show, as I was too busy keeping up with Ren and Stimpy.
Yes. Classic trash. Continue.
But he seemed fun enough. If I could go back in time, I'd probably watch. Some years later, Bill Nye experienced a resurgence in popularity. But instead of the old, nerdy but lovable Bill Nye, we got Bill Nye 2.0. A somewhat cantankerous scold who clearly knows less about science than he leads on. Bill Nye, Prophet of Doom. In his latest appearance, Bill Nye had a cameo on John Oliver's show in which he lit a globe on fire and dropped a few F-bombs.
Hey, that's what I just referenced.
I guess that passes as comedy these days. But is setting a globe on fire an appropriate analogy to get the message across? Earth's temperature has gone up 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit since 1880. Undoubtedly, another 4 to 8 degrees is quite a lot in a short period of time, but Earth is not, nor will it ever be, a flaming ball of fire. Earth isn't Venus. So, he didn't take the time to watch Bill Nye. He said that if he could go back in time, he'd probably watch. It's all available still. Why do you need to go back in time to watch it?
It's on Netflix.
Yeah. And so is Bill Nye Saves the World. And
also, I don't think that him lighting the globe on fire had anything to do with the scientific message behind it. I think it was to
emphasize
get people
a point.
to pay attention. It's called being inflammatory, and it fucking
and using
worked.
The fuck word.
Yeah, idiot. It worked because for some reason you decided to take time out of your very busy PhD schedule to comment on it.
And this article was easily like 6 times as long as what I kept for the expert opinion.
That's so embarrassing.
It was so much.
You're spending time as a PhD who should be doing real work and shit, writing an article about a TV scientist.
And using things like Prophet of Doom.
And that says everything for me.
Silly.
That's
it. His final statement about Earth isn't Venus being like a flaming ball of fire.
Why didn't you say the sun?
There's that. And the fact that he used Venus led me down a line of questioning like, wait, is Venus a flaming ball of fire? Like, what? And so I Googled just that. Is Venus a flaming ball of fire? And the first thing that came up was Venus, burning hellscape of volcanic destruction or something like that. Apparently it's really bad, but it's not on fire.
Not on fire.
It's not a flaming ball of fire, which is redundant anyway.
Goodness gracious.
So
great
I'm
balls
disappointed
of fire.
with Alex Berizau and his microbiology PhD not being used.
New topic. Who's the best Alex? Obviously Trebek.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only Alex I know.
We're going to keep doing these like person versus person debates. It'll just be like, who's the best Alex?
We can't do that one though
Who's the best
because
Ryan?
Alex Trebek is the best.
Is there another Alex that could even compete
Alex
with Trebek? Baldwin.
Sander Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
Alec. And
I know that. Alexander Hamilton.
Morgan. I think she's a soccer player.
Is
She's
she a
girl.
captain?
She was on the U.S.
Was she the soccer captain?
I don't know.
Soccer Captain Morgan. She got her foot up on the ball.
She probably was if she's famous enough for me to know who she is.
I didn't. And my
Alex Ovechkin. He's famous. Spells it weird, though. I think.
I don't know who any of these
It might be
Alexes
one of
are.
those Aleks.
But it stands to reason that we could totally do similar arguments to the best Bill and the best Chris.
Julia. Who is it?
Julia Andrews.
That's Julie. Jesus Christ. I don't think we can keep doing this.
Julia Andrews and Alex Baldwin.
Perfect. I would like to
present some expert opinions
from everyone's favorite, commonsensemedia.com.
commonsensemedia.com.
I present to you two things. First, Bill Nye, the science guy. And second,
Yes.
Bill Nye saves the world. Buckle up. Coming at you first with Bill Nye, the science guy. We've got kid, 11 years old, recommended age 6+, 4 stars. The title of this review is Ha-ee-ee, ha-ee-ee. And it says, what? It's a living walking meme. It says one word. It's a living walking meme.
The show is.
Yes.
Oh.
You know how, like, with that SpongeBob meme where he's like, and you know how, like, every other letter is capitalized?
Oh, yeah.
That's the ha-ee-ee, ha-ee-ee.
I don't like that noise. Keep doing it.
Ha-ee-ee, ha-ee-ee.
Okay, that was kid 11 years old.
Yes.
Who else we got?
Now we have teen, 14 years old, goes by at Murder Mystery. They rate this age 5+, 1 star.
Oh.
The title of this review is Immature but Educational. They say, parents should know that Bill Nye the Science Guy contains a lot of scientific experiments which shouldn't be tried at home.
That's why they gave it 1 star?
It's immature but educational.
I'm pretty sure they say that in the show.
Bill Nye the Science Guy!
And emphasize on all caps. What is it with people in all caps?
Why would you put Bill Nye the Science Guy in all caps?
If anything, put it in italics because you're referencing a show.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill. Are we going to get struck for just saying that over and over again?
They can't do that to me.
Science rules.
This next one comes from teen, 17 years old. They rate this age 2+ and give it 5 stars. The title of this review is This Science Show is Great.
I really hope they didn't pee themselves.
They say, they're 17, they're not going to pee themselves. They say, I'm in college and I still watch the show. Also, Bill Nye is sexy.
Oh. Oh my. Calm down, teen. I know the hormones are getting at you at 17 years old, but he is 64 years old.
Not
He's
in
not
the
for you.
90s. He was not 64 years old in the 90s, so he might have been hot back then.
You got me there. Back then, how many years ago was that?
20.
Oh my God. So
Yeah,
he
it was
like in
before
his
I was born,
late
so
30s,
it's over
early
25
40s.
years ago.
Okay, that's...
Fine.
Teen...
He was sexy is a better way to put it. He's not sexy now.
That's what I'm hesitantly getting at.
All right.
He totally was.
We
Science is sexy.
slightly agree with you if you were to use was instead of is.
Sexiness never dies.
Yes, it does. I'm trying to think of an example. Who's an old man who's no longer sexy?
Ted Bundy.
He's fucking dead.
He never got the chance
I'm gonna
to
go
be
with
old.
Harrison Ford was hotter back in the day.
That's true.
All right, this last one comes from Kit, 10 years old. They rate this age 7+, 3 stars.
Okay.
Title of this review is Meh. They say, it's okay, but some of the science they teach includes some weird song, dance, etc. that gets the kids in my class going insane and makes me crazy too. I feel like some of the information is good, but mostly it's not new at all. Okay, first of all,
Okay.
science is not new, period. Right? So what they're teaching you is not new by nature of science.
Yeah, they just discovered this new science. It's microbiology. We just met a guy his name is Alex. He's discovering some new science.
I also assume that the point of the weird song, dance, etc. is to make the kids go insane so that they pay attention to science.
Oh, yeah.
child.
It's all about that immature education.
What is an immature education?
That's what one of your
it's
tweets
immature
said.
but educational.
Oh, okay. I just smushed it together. Immature education.
Okie dokie. That's all I got for Bill Nye Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye Saves the World is like 500 times better than that.
All right. Can I do mine before you get to Bill Nye Saves the World?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess.
Thank you so much.
No.
Okay. Well, after I listened to the first episode of Bill Gates and Rashida Jones's Ask Big Questions podcast, I had to see the reviews because there are people who hate Bill Gates for completely logical reasons, right? People like user Benderico, who gave the podcast 1 star last Saturday, which was 2 days before the podcast even released, episode 1.
Wait, how can you do that?
Because they launched the trailer a few days prior. So it was there on Apple Podcasts, but like the first episode hadn't aired yet.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Benderico is a wealth of knowledge. They say, Bill Gates is evil. 1 star. Known eugenist and evil person, Bill Gates should never be listened to. Anything he says is actually the opposite due to the satanic inversion principle. I'm getting... This voice isn't working. Hold on.
What is the satanic...
I gotta make a dumber sounding voice. Anything he says is actually the opposite due to the satanic inversion principle. The COVID vaccine masquerades as the mark of the beast. Even if you aren't religious, you should be concerned that you won't be able to buy, sell, or travel if you don't receive the vaccine.
That makes a lot of sense to me, buddy.
For a virus that has an incredibly high survivability rate.
Oh, no.
And, of course, Gates is heavily invested in the vaccine manufacturers.
He gave money.
This is a conspiracy theory with people with respect to COVID and who use the term plandemic.
That's my fave.
They emphasize or suggest that people who have a lot of stock in firms that produce and research vaccines have something to do with the start of the pandemic. As in, Bill Gates somehow plotted to start a worldwide viral pandemic, killing over 1 million people now, all so he could sell and profit off of the production of a vaccine for said virus.
If that was true, they would have come up with the vaccine a lot quicker.
Yeah, and
because they lost a lot of money because of the pandemic.
Exactly.
Idiot. So sorry if anybody listening to this is one of those people. I think you should stop listening. I don't care.
Yeah, if you do believe this, turn this off right now.
I don't care if we go down to 64 people.
I really don't.
If that's your belief,
I would rather
you're wrong.
64 listeners as opposed to 65 than have you listen to this podcast.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, anybody who believes that. Anybody who hasn't hopped on the crazy train, please stick around and tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Now, don't think I didn't check to see if Bill Nye also has a podcast, which Kristin already mentioned. He does. It's called Science Rules.
Woo!
With Bill Nye.
Woo!
And it also has some ratings, 4,000 ratings to be exact, and a 4.5 stars out of 5 overall. But we cannot discount these other compelling reviews coming from users like Porter802, 1 star in February 17th, 2020. They say, sellout, Monsanto supporter.
Bummer.
Yeah, Monsanto's like a GMO. I loosely read articles about how both Bill Gates and Bill Nye have differing opinions or have changed their opinions about the use of GMO-free and whatever, but it's all just more conspiracy bullshit. Next one comes from user RabbleNips, 1 star on September 26, 2019. Bill Nye the sex junk guy. He ruined my childhood memory of him by becoming an activist in a lab coat. He is as unscientific as it gets.
Okay, RabbleNips. First of all, your name is RabbleNips, and you got mad at Bill Nye for having an episode on sex? Like, I think you need to call me RabbleNips.
No.
What is a rabble nip? Do we know?
Those are nips that are rabbly. Yeah, they're rabble rousers.
Disgusting.
Them nips.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
Maybe rabble nips and Mr. Diddleman are friends.
Ugh.
And our third one coming from Chips Ahoy 10 on September 5th, 2019. They give 3 stars. Meh. Kind of boring.
Meh is a popular review title.
Just meh.
Meh.
I mean, it's a solid 3-star review title.
And yeah, that
Right in the middle.
The other one was 3 stars.
Consistent. Way to go, Chips Ahoy 10. But overwhelmingly, there were listeners to the Science Rules podcast who really enjoy it, like Fred Tampa, who says, down-to-earth learning. I enjoy the podcast because I listen to topics I wouldn't select on my own, and they turn out to be really fascinating. Bill and his guests can take a complex topic, and by the end of the program, the average person can have an understanding and appreciation for something they never thought about before. Thank you for the experience. Now, the only problem with Frank's review is that he gave the podcast 2 out of 5 stars, so I am officially confused.
If it was 3, it'd be fine.
Yeah, then he'd be right in the middle. But when
No,
you sing
it wouldn't change a thing. 3 out of 5 stars.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't catch the reference because I'm so stupid. Oh, boy. Sorry, that sounded a lot more aggressive than I meant to. I'm just being jovial. I don't... anyway. It's fine.
But
It's fine. I don't actually berate my own intelligence legitimately all the time. Left turn. But yeah, Frank needs to reevaluate what the star system, how it works.
Stars.
Because you're dragging down Bill's ratings, Frank.
Yes, his 1 out of 4,000. Single-handedly.
That could be a 4.51. Possibly.
Woo!
4.501, maybe.
Let's talk about more ratings.
Yes, let's get it.
I bring you back to Common Sense Media for Bill Nye Saves the World.
Yeah.
And last time I did kids for Bill Nye the Science Guy, but the adults reviews for this show were much funnier. For instance, I've got Karen H11. Yes, we have a Karen, everybody.
Oh, here she comes.
She claims to be the parent of a 9 and 11-year-old. She rates this 18 plus and gives it 1 star. The title of this review is Absolutely Not for Children.
Not.
Not.
Damn, Karen.
The 13 plus rating given here is too low, given the lewd content in the sexuality episode. I can't speak about the rest of the episodes yet, but because of the song included in this episode, I cannot recommend allowing kids to watch any of this series until the adults in the house have pre-screened every minute. Well, let me tell you,
because
Karen.
Because of the song?
Let me tell you, Karen, if there is an episode based on sexuality, I'm gonna assume you're not gonna show it to your 9 and 11-year-old. Also, it explicitly says that the series is for adults. So what are you doing? What are you doing, Karen?
But she had a problem with the song included in the episode.
What are you doing, Karen?
What is this another, like, oh God, who are our people who are bickering about children on YouTube not being able to handle the strong vocabulary? I feel like this was like...
I kept calling them Karen too. But wait, it gets better.
Oh, okay.
Like from @James L, who claims to be an adult. They rate this at age 18 plus and give it 1 star. The title of this review is Don't Bother Watching This Garbage. When I first began seeing the ads for the show, I will admit I was optimistic, but the second I watched it myself, those feelings quickly died down. This show is full of the most revolting garbage you will ever see, led by one of the biggest condescending jerks America has to offer. Don't waste your time on this unless you plan on lowering the rating.
I don't know. He's a comedian.
I didn't know that Bill Nye was a condescending jerk.
A lot of people say, like, have issues with how he acts or behaves on camera, that he's condescending or that
I believe it is a response. It's called sarcasm, right?
Yeah.
People my age understand sarcasm.
True.
Because that's our first language. But the elderly, the adults, if you will, they think it's rude because they're too dumb to figure out what sarcasm is. I don't fucking know.
And also, when he's on camera, it's a performance. It's a heightened form of himself. That's just how it be in the showbiz. And he's saving the world. you can't shit on him when he's trying to save the world.
Speaking of saving the world, let's take it to this next one. This is a personal favorite of mine.
Thank you for bailing me
This
out of
is
every
from-
time I go on tangents and don't have anything compelling to say.
You're welcome. This is from @MediaExpert21, who claims to be a parent of a 13, 15, and 17-year-old.
Well, slow down, media expert. 3 children is too many.
All within 2 years of each other.
Oh, they had a schedule going.
Yeah. They rate this show age 18 plus and give it 1 star. The title of this review is There's a Big Difference Between Science and Atheism, Mr. Nye.
Oh, no.
I grew up watching this guy even in school and never had any problems with him. Yes, he was stupid, but that was about it. Then years later, I found out old Bill was an atheist. I don't believe this way personally, and I don't believe that he should try to show force his beliefs on us. I am sorry if you feel different, folks, but I don't believe that he should have a second chance to have a programmer. That was a fat run-on sentence, and it made no sense.
Let me just say one thing. Shut the fuck up, Becky. Dude, why?
First of all, if you're gonna rant like this, could you put some periods in there so I can breathe?
Any amount of punctuation would be great.
Also,
Media expert 21.
I don't believe that science and atheism have to be brought up together. You just assumed that because he's an atheist, science means atheism. Media expert 21. And that, you know what happens when we assume? You make an ass of yourself.
Mostly.
Not me.
I mean, I would argue that, like, Darwinism and the theory of evolution are pretty anti-creationist religious sort of things, but that's not all science. You can have both.
I don't believe anybody asked your opinion, but also a lot of religious people believe in science.
Those
So,
are the best of us.
Asserting that is probably annoying to those people.
If you can have faith and science, you're killing the game in life. So good job.
That's Austin's opinion. We don't endorse it or disapprove of it. He just says things.
I do.
Really.
And, I mean,
Speaking
what
of
do I
saying
believe?
things, let's end on a positive note from
Okay. I can use
Clayton
some
J, who
positivity.
claims to be a parent. He rates this.
Why are you saying it like it's not going to be positive?
He claims to be a parent. He rates this show age 16 plus and gives it 1 star. This review is titled Nothing Like His Old Show.
Well, obviously.
I was thinking this would be a great show for kids to learn science, but my lord was I wrong. There's an entire section talking about an eye sex. And
Oh.
oh,
They censored anal.
I'm sticking with an eye sex and methods of masturbation. This isn't science, it's propaganda.
How is this positive?
It was sarcasm.
Oh,
Apparently
I
you're one
get-
of the adults who are too dumb to figure out sarcasm.
I'm an old generation. I mean, I am. Look at me. I'm Bill Gates, y'all.
I prefer an
One
eye
of
sex.
us.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Good. Because I've
For the time
decided to
being.
bring in one child review because I'm 100% sure it's not a child, but actually a parent pretending to be a child to bring the Common Sense Media ratings lower. This is a conspiracy theory, and I require it to activate. So this is from teen, age 16, and they rate this show 18 plus and give it 1 star.
Man.
The title of this review is Disappointing for Someone Who Was Taught Science on the Originals.
Oh.
I am barely old enough to remember Bill Nye tretching lots of science to me in primary school, and I was excited to see he would come back in 2017 for a more mature audience. What I did not expect or want was Bill's condescension. He talks down on those against climate change and vaccines so bad that even though I actually agree with him on these issues, it was hard to watch. Bill does bring a couple of opponents on the show, but shuts them down and barely lets them talk.
Good.
That's what I do. The format is also strange. Bill acts like a talk show host rather than explain science. Perhaps the science guy should be sciencing? The sexuality episode was bad. Not even much science that I remember, just him pushing a combination of gender and sex spectrums in license. Bill was quite weak on the facts here, and it really just seemed more like some kind of political activism he didn't quite achieve. Perhaps at least a 3-dot level for sex would have been better, 50% due to the segment an adult linked to. Summarized, Bill Nye and Netflix failed in an attempt to bring the science guy back by being far too political and condescending, awkwardly designed in a truly terrible episode 9. The CSM reviewer did a terrible job reviewing this show.
Everybody's got issues with the sex episode. What's the problem?
I would like to point out, first of all, one of your critiques is that it was a talk show. Well, it's marketed as a talk show, idiot. So maybe do your research before turning on the TV, because then you won't be as surprised when it's talk show, because it's literally marketed as a talk show. Sorry, I have no sympathy for more-offs. Okay.
More-offs. Morons.
Second of all, if you're going to be condescending in your review by trying to be smart and saying you were taught on science...
Can't criticize them for being condescending.
Not only that, but you can't write things like tretching when you mean teaching and exited when you mean excited. Like, that's just embarrassing for you because you want to sound smart. And I'm saying this because I know you're an adult trying to masquerade as a child. So knock it the fuck off.
Also, hiding behind the fact that the Common Sense Media doesn't give names for the children reviews, for good reason, but, like, they're hiding their own identity.
They also came after the person who works for Common Sense Media who reviewed the show by saying they did a terrible job reviewing the show. Like, what is wrong with you? Why are you such an angry person? Like, who broke up with you in 1995 and left you this bitter? Grow up.
Did somebody break up with you in 1995?
I was born in 1995, so my mom's womb broke up with me.
Oh,
such a sad
That's
day.
a weird way to put that together, but okay. It's technically not wrong.
I have no sympathy for someone who wants to pretend to be smart, but then has so many typos it hurts my brain.
Mm-hmm. I have issue with the fact that so many people took issue with the sexuality episode, because this is the kind of people who
if it's marketed as a sexuality episode and you know that sex offends you, maybe you shouldn't watch it.
And it's educational.
Know your limits, people.
They're the kind of people who aren't going to teach their kids enough about sexuality, and so they're going to have more likely repressed sexual tendencies and could act out on those tendencies. It's a much more dangerous situation. Just talk to your kids about sex. It's not that hard. Not that I have kids, but I'm sure...
Not that you should have.
Oh, boy. I'll stick to Molly for now. I'm doing okay with her.
You'll stick to Molly.
Having her as a child.
Oh, you're doing it.
I take her on walks, I give her food and water, and then I try to play ball with her, but she doesn't want to play. But she doesn't respect you as
a parent because you're too fun guy and
I'm
not
the fun
enough
parent.
disciplinarian. Like, she's under your bed right now.
True. It's a cozy space.
Anyway, That's the debate, y'all.
The Battle of the Bills is over.
Who do you guys think won this argument?
Neither, because they're so fucking cool, both of them.
Factual.
But Bill Nye is a pop culture icon.
And Bill Gates
is just smart
is
and
on
rich.
his way, thanks to his collaboration with Rashida Jones.
Thanks to Rashida Jones and nobody else. Just kidding. He's just a rich guy who helps the world behind the scenes rather than in front of cameras, because I think he's more of a low-key kind of guy than someone who tries to fill everybody with rage so they act.
Moral of the story is
both
we're very
good
thankful
guys,
for all the good that both of these bills do.
Opposite of the spectrum. Opposite
and I'm
sides.
thankful that I don't have to pay these bills because I can't afford them.
And we're back to Austin's dumb jokes. Well, let us know what you think on social media at CoPOPod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
You can message us.
You can message Austin. Or if there's anything you think we missed in our arguments, you can email us your updates, corrections, and any additional debate points to copopod@gmail.com. Just be sure to put Court of Appeals in the subject line.
You can also suggest future argument topics by sending us an email with debate about it in the subject line.
And with that, let's hear about those Court of Appeals we're presented.
Woo! Court of Appeals, it's time to...
That's copyright.
That one is?
Probably not.
You're positive?
Probably not. I mean, I don't know how old Joy to the World is.
It's also not Christmas time yet. But there are no Thanksgiving songs that I'm aware of. Anyway, we haven't received any new emails updates this week, but we have had a little bit of engagement on the social media. So I would like to call attention to these interactions. On our Instagram story this past Sunday, I posted a mini debate asking if people wet their toothbrushes before or after putting toothpaste on it. And it seems like most of the people do water first, then toothpaste. But our friends on Facebook and Instagram and my fellow Hufflepuff housemates, Jonathan and Natasha, presented an important third option that we cannot overlook, saying, soak it first, then put toothpaste on, then just a splash of water and brush. Then Jonathan says this is particularly important for people who have sensitive gums. Do you have any thoughts about this, Kristin?
No, but Alyssa messaged me, my friend from high school, and said, before, obviously, those who do it after are fucking weird. That means you...
This is a kind of debate like the over-under toilet paper debate, where it's like, it's just stuff going on in the bathroom, you know? It's just bathroom stuff, just bathroom talk. And it's a personal
preference. Why do you
preference.
have to make everything weird?
That's just how I do.
All right, well, that's it for Court of Appeals this week. Please don't hesitate to let us know your strong opinions on any subject, like Alyssa did by calling Austin fucking weird. We'd love to hear from you guys. And now it's time to take a look into the future.
Look to the future!
What are we arguing next week, Goob?
All right, well, as we all know, Thanksgiving is coming up this week. So obviously we're going to have food on our minds. And thanks to my roommate Tyler, we have two foods in particularly eating away at the hunger receptors of our brain holes. Waffles and pancakes. There was a segue there. It just happened so abruptly you weren't expecting it. Waffles and pancakes. Which fluffy pastry is the best for breakfast? Find out next Saturday.
Importantly, I can't have either, but I will still pick one and argue it.
Yay!
Thank you so much for listening to the Court of Public Opinion podcast, a Loaded Dice production.
If you'd like to hear more of me,
which you don't.
I star in another podcast called D&D Railed, the Griffin City Chronicles. If you're into Dungeons and Dragons and listening to a bunch of goofballs pretending to be people that they're not, go look up D&D Railed, the Griffin City Chronicles. That's Griffon. You know how to spell city in Chronicles, I'm assuming. Wherever you listen to podcasts.
You know what happens when you assume.
It makes an ass out of mostly me.
True. You can also follow our adventure and travel Instagram at @doubledown_adventures, where you can find more of me and this goob going out into the wilderness and braving the elements with our pupper Molly Cristo, who's under the beard.
If you like the podcast, please leave us 5 stars. If you like the podcast, please leave us a 5-star rating on Apple or Google Podcasts. And if you have the extra 30 seconds to spare, go ahead and write a review as well. That'll really help the podcast grow. We don't know how the algorithm works, but it makes it better.
And if you can't get enough of the Court of Public Opinion, you can support the court or join the jury on patreon.com/CoPOPod, where you'll get access to episodes a day early, bonus content, and more.
Wow! You don't say.
I do say.
No way, Kristin! And who do we have to thank for supporting the court this week?
As usual, we've got the one,
the only,
the Frankie Kerstetter as our head juror. It's officially been a quarter of a year since you began supporting us, and we can't begin to thank you enough for your patronage.
A quarter of a year? That's like at least 7 days.
I believe it's 3 months.
Bananas. Thank you so much for your monthly donation, Frankie. And your contributions honestly push us to work as hard as we can to put out these arguments every week and continue to improve the podcast as the 2020 shitstorm rages on.
It's almost over.
So close. Happy holidays, everybody.
Lastly, we have to give a special thanks to Nathen Ruiz
for designing the Court of Public Opinion podcast logo.
AJ Curtin
for writing, recording, and producing our theme music.
And Gerard Marquez
for being the voice of our bailiff at the beginning of every episode.
Catch you guys next Saturday for the second great breakfast debate.
You damn straight.
Waffles versus pancakes. Have a great week and a happy Thanksgiving, Peanuts.
Court is adjourned.